Right, so in today's video we're going to be taking a closer look at the quick release plate, which is going to fit the Nikon Coolpix P1100 and it's also going to fit the P1000. So let's take a closer look at this quick release plate. And now I've taken the quick release plate off, and as you can see it's quite a sturdy mount. It's got that U shape there and it's really solid to the touch. So as you can see on the bottom we've got the 1/4 inch thread mount. And we'll just match that up with this, and that just clips straight over, and then you just screw the 1/4 inch thread underneath. So as you can see underneath the quick release plate, we'll just screw the 1/4 inch thread mount to the body of the camera, and then you've got two additional ones here at the side. So this is great for when you're fixing it to the tripod when you want to balance it out there. And as you can see underneath we've got the 1/4 inch thread mount. We've got a very small base, and as you can see there we've got a bit of a lip. So when that's on a tripod without this new mount, it's going to get top heavy when that lens is protruding out. I'll be showing you that later. So what this quick release plate is going to do, it's going to support the heavier camera, which is the P1100 over there, because that's got a really protruding lens. So when you're punching that right out to the 3000mm 125x optical, the camera gets top heavy and it puts great stress on the 1/4 inch thread mount at the bottom, which I'll show you in a minute. And when the quick release plate's attached to the body of the camera, it really is tight and secure, and it's just not going to come off whatsoever. As you can see, that's fixed on really tightly there. And now I'm going to shift the table and get the tripod set up, and then I'll fix it to the tripod with and without the quick release plate, just so you can see the differences there. Here we go. So as you've seen earlier with this quick release plate, you just unscrew it from the bottom, and then it just pops off, as you can see there. So first of all, I'm going to mount the P1100 to the tripod without the quick release plate, and then I'll mount it with the quick release plate, and then you'll be able to see the differences why this is a must if you're using the P1100 there. So we'll just loosen the quick release plate here, get the P1100, and that just fits to the bottom, as you know, the 1/4 inch thread mount there. And now as you can see, I've mounted the quick release plate off the tripod to the camera, but straight away you'll see there's a gap in there. And now what that's going to do is put great stress on the camera body there with that quick release mount when that lens is protruding out, as I'll show you right now. So as you can see, when the camera's mounted, we've got that gap underneath there. So when the camera gets top heavy, you see that play there? Now that's no good for the 1/4 inch thread mount on the base of the camera, as there have been reports of that snapping, or that 1/4 inch thread through snapping off. And then you're going to have a lot of hassle sending your camera off, getting that fixed. So that's why this quick release bracket's a must if you've got this camera. So when the P1100's lens is fully maxed out, which I'll show you right now, it just keeps going forever. So when the lens is fully protruded like this, you'll see underneath, and you have to touch it slightly, and you get the wobble there, as you can see. So for two reasons that's really bad, because one, it's putting stress on that 1/4 inch thread mount at the bottom, and second of all, when you zoom into its maximum potential like it is right now, the footage gets really shaky if there's a little bit of wind. Now if you've got a little bit of wind and you've got that gap and you're trying to focus on things, you're going to get a bounce and the footage gets shaky. And then one more reason, as you can see there, the camera's moving all over the place. It's spinning on that 1/4 inch thread mount because there's nothing to support it here. So again, that's why this quick release plate comes in really handy, because the camera cannot wobble around as it's doing, because this U shape's really clamping hold of the camera there. So that's where this really comes in handy, as I'll show you right now. So now I've attached the quick release plate to the P1100, and you always put this on first, then you get your quick release plate off the tripod, and then you attach this to this second. And it's up to you where you mount this. You can mount it on that hole or on that 1/4 inch thread mount, depending on how your tripod's set up there. So I'm just going to mount it to the middle one there. Screws into position. And now the quick release plate off the tripod's attached to the stabilised quick release plate. And I always leave both quick release plates on my camera when it's not on a tripod, because it comes in real handy to stabilise the camera, as you can just hold underneath there. So it's great for any handheld shots. And that really does help keeping the camera stable. So now we'll fix the P1100 to the tripod. And as we've just seen, we've got both quick release plates on there. And as we've just covered, always put that one on first. Then you put your quick release plate, which is off your tripod. And now that's just going to slide straight on there. Tighten that up at the back. Now that's nice and secure, as you can see. And now you'll notice that we've got no gap underneath because we've got this supported quick release mount here. When I'm pushing down on the top now, just like before, we've got no play in the camera whatsoever. So now there's no stress on the 1/4 inch thread mount at the bottom, and especially the 1/4 inch on the camera body there. There's no pressure on that whatsoever now. And then you'll see when I put the zoom to its maximum zoom range there, and again press down. I don't advise doing this, but it's just for demonstration purposes. Again, we've got no gap, so when you press down, we've got no play whatsoever. So when there's no play when you're pressing down on the camera body there, and there's no wind, you'll get real stabilised footage at the furthest 125x there. So as you've seen with this quick release plate, it hugs the camera with that U shape, and it also supports it right up to where the lens comes out. So that's got that camera in a rock steady, stable position there. And as I'm moving the camera right and left this time, we've got no play like we did before. And now I'll put a before and after up with a quick release plate attached and then with it detached, so you can really see the differences there, especially when I'm softly pressing down on the camera lens and also when I'm turning it left to right. So now that you've seen the P1100 with and without the bracket attached, what's your thoughts? Now, I think it's a no-brainer, to be honest, because when I first got this camera and the tripod, I didn't have this, and I was having a bit of issues, to be fair, especially when it were windy. I was getting a lot of wobble and shake in my footage, especially when that lens was fully protruded out there. Because your footage and photographs from the P1100 or your P1000, as it's compatible with both, is going to be a lot more stable than if you wasn't using this bracket. This quick release bracket cost me £42, and then £6 postage and packaging, so a total of £48 there. Now I know that seems a lot of money for what it is, but in the long run it really is worth it, because I've had this camera without this and I've been doing a lot of zoom tests for at least a month now, and a lot of my shots I've had to redo or I've not been able to use because they was just far too shaky, even when the wind was really low. So it not only supports your camera, it makes it feel a lot more sturdy and more trustworthy when you're mounting it on your tripod and you're walking around. Because as you've seen before, when this isn't mounted, the camera's moving left to right and it's spinning around and putting a lot of pressure on that 1/4 inch thread mount at the bottom there. And you've also got to keep in mind, if you don't buy this bracket and you just persist like I was doing for the first few weeks, you're putting a lot of stress on that 1/4 inch thread mount there. And as I've said, there's been a lot of reports of that snapping inside the camera body, and then that's going to cost you a lot more than £48. So that's one to keep in mind. So as always, do stay tuned to the channel. There's going to be plenty more videos on the horizon, especially with this Nikon P1100. And I've just visited the coastline there and got some real good shots of some ships in the distance, some birds and people walking on the beach, varying from 500 metres right to a few miles there. And also I've done a revisit to the moon there, zooming close in on those craters once again, and I've also zoomed into Jupiter with its surrounding moons and the star Sirius, and that is really strange, so stay tuned because that's coming real soon to the channel. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today and you've had a real good insight with this quick release plate, which is compatible with the Nikon Coolpix P1100 and the P1000. So if you're interested in buying this quick release plate, I will leave a link in the description, and if you just click that, it'll send you straight to the website where I bought it from. But for now, thanks for watching, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and bye for now.